All right, boys, we are back, and it's time to continue year 2 with our San Jose Sharks. Hopefully, we can get up to the trade deadline in this video. The last video, we started up the regular season. We also had free agency and the end of off-season, where we made the trade for, what was his name? Brendan Gallagher, our new second-line right winger, which fills up that second line quite nicely. Goodbye to Thomas Hertl. We had to trade Thomas Hertl away, and a few of you guys were saying that that was actually a big mistake. You know, 81 overall, 20-year-old, 4.5 gold star potential. And I agree, he probably does have a good future, but we traded him to the Eastern Conference, so we don't have to deal with him too much. And we got Brendan Gallagher back, who is a perfect second liner and may become a first liner of the future. He's only got the 4-star potential, but they are green star, but he's already 84 overall. So say he only stays at 84 overall for the future, you still have a solid second line right winger right here. All right, so only time will tell to see if Hertl or Gallagher would be better, but I'm still happy with that trade. All right, now we're not going to make any line changes right now. Some people were saying bring Gallagher up to the first line. I'm not going to do that. The first month was a little bad. The second month we got back on track. Let's see if the poise kicks in, like my theory goes, and see if we can become a President's Trophy type team. We're going to go all the way up. I should go 1 month at a time, but I think this is going to be pretty much automatic. So yeah, we'll go up here. And there's actually something that I can talk about. Why do I keep kicking? What the fuck? Get out of here. There's actually something I can talk about. Yesterday, I did a shootout commentary for the New York Islanders, and I talked about the Thomas Vanek, Matt Moulson first and second round pick trade. And I had forgot that the first round pick that the Islanders had traded, if it was a top 10 pick, they can move it to next year. I forgot about that. Now, you know, while that may be true, that doesn't change my opinion on it, because are the New York Islanders going to be a good team next year automatically? You know, what happens if they're a top 5 pick again next year? Do you want to give up your chance to get Connor McDavid, who's going in the draft next year, right? So it's still a lose-lose for the New York Islanders, I believe. If you're going to trade away first-round picks, you can't get a guy who's in his later 20s, early 30s, which I think Thomas Vanek is. I actually don't know exactly what his age is right now. I think he was later 20s when they traded for him. Same age as like a Matt Moulson. But, you know, if you're going to trade away those first-round picks, it's got to be for another younger player. Like when Toronto traded their 2 first-round picks for Phil Kessel, at the time, a lot of people had a problem with it. But I don't think anyone's got a problem with it now. You know, Phil Kessel, he was like 21, 22, 23 when we traded for him. He's already given us like 5 years, or this is his 5th year, I think, 5th or 6th year, I can't remember. But he's already given us 5 years of like 5 30-goal seasons, right? And he signed an 8-year deal, and he's only 26 years old, right? So to give up first-round picks for younger players that are going to be good for you for the next, 10 years, that makes sense. If they could have brought in another 21, 22, 23-year-old to play alongside of John Tavares for the next, 10 years, that would have been a good idea to trade away the first-round pick. But it doesn't matter if they can move it to next year. The fact is they still gave up a first-round pick as a non-playoff team, and the player that they got back is leaving their team or just going to walk off their team, and they're not going to get anything back. That's my basic point, all right? So even though that they can trade it away next year, I'm still not a believer on the New York Islanders for next year, thinking automatically they're going to be a playoff team. And could you imagine the Buffalo Sabres? Imagine if they have like the first overall pick and like the 4th overall pick with the lottery coming for Connor McDavid. You know, that's great odds. So it's still a mistake. That's all I'm saying. It's still a big mistake. So we went another month here, 23, 10, and 3. I actually did not even check out our record. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Winning games. I think we only had like 2 or 3 losses that month. 49 points in the NHL, 2nd in the West behind Minnesota, and 3rd in the NHL behind Tampa Bay and Minnesota. So yeah, I think we're on autopilot right now, just like we were last year. I want to get up to the trade deadline in this. Oh, you know what? There was actually a good comment. I wasn't going to make the trade, but I did want to just show you guys, just in case the team took a nosedive a little bit, I wouldn't mind making this trade. Matt Fratton on the LA Kings. You guys were saying really low trade value. We checked him out in the last video while we were looking for right wingers for, oh, look at that. He actually jumped up a little bit. So I probably should have grabbed him when it was a lot lower, because he was 84 overall and the trade value was like I think it was even lower than Justin Williams. It's gone up now, so there's no point in making that trade. He had 3 years left at 2.2 mil, 84 overall, 26 years old. You guys were saying get him for a 3rd line instead of Wingles or Kennedy, and that would have been a good idea. I could have done that. His defensive category is good. He's got what, 4-star? No, his census is only 3.5 star, but he's got 4-star for physical, puck skills, and then 4.5-star for defense, shooting, and skating. And 2.2 mil, 84 overall with a low trade value. That would have been a good idea. But no. And no. See, yeah, you can maybe do Wingles, but why trade away Wingles? Basically the same type of player, right? I'd say Fratton is a little bit better, but still. No need to make that deal. If we started to lose, I wouldn't have minded to trade Kennedy for Fratton. I think that would have been a good idea. But the trade value spiked, and we're winning games. So let's just run with it. When we get to the trade deadline, we're going to stop it right there. So maybe we can reassess everything. And if we want to get a better third-line winger, I wouldn't be opposed on doing that. I think our top 6 is set in stone now for the playoffs and the rest of the season. Patrick Marleau, Joe Pavelski, and Brendan Gallagher on the second line, and Logan Couture, Joe Thornton, and Brent Burns on the first line. And when the playoffs come, if you want to make some changes, move what's his name? Patrick Marleau up to the first line, Logan down to the second line. You have plenty of options with those top 6, so I don't need to get another top 6 forward. I like our fourth line with Jay McClement, Fraser McLaren, and now Dwight King. I think that fourth line is looking good, but I do agree, Tyler Kennedy might be somebody that we could switch out for a grinder or a power forward or even a playmaker or sniper, give that third line a little bit more depth goal scoring with Vladimir Sobotka and Wingles, so it wouldn't be a bad idea. But if our team is playing good, I don't want to do that. All right, so we got to scout one more time. I really don't need to scout too much this year. We don't have a first-round pick. Well, we do, but it's going to be a late one probably. We're not going to get any of these top 10 guys. All right, so keep going. Yep, all the way up to here. There you go. Oh, man, there was something else I wanted to talk about. I think I've forgotten, Ed. Damn, I should write these topics down during these simulating. With these good teams like the San Jose Sharks, and the Quebec City Ace Nordiques in the later years, it's almost like the regular season. There's really no changes to make. I know the lines that we have, and they're basically the exact same lines from last year, other than, 2 spots? It was Dwight King and Brendan Gallagher. And Brendan Gallagher is better than Thomas Hertl. Right now he is. The future that may change, but right now, no doubt he is. So we should be a good team. Oh, yeah, that was it. It was, if we don't end up winning the Stanley Cup this year, it's about the options with what we can do with our older players, right? I guess we could talk about that because, yeah, there's really nothing else to talk about. So when it comes to the offseason, it's not automatic that we're going to be trading Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau. That's why I signed them to, 3-year deals, because if they maintain their potential, if they maintain their overall, I wouldn't mind keeping them for another year. That's only if they maintain their potential and overall. It's at 4-star potential, both for Marleau and Joe Thornton, right? So as soon as that drops to 3.5, that we have to trade them then, okay? But I wouldn't mind holding on to them if they keep their overalls up there. But if we don't win the Stanley Cup this year with this team, I think one of the changes that we could make would be our goaltender, Niemi. His contract is up this year. It's a great contract this year, all right, for an 85 overall goaltender, only making 3.3 mil or something like that. That's very nice for us. But if we have to re-sign him and he wants 5 mil, I'd rather go out there and get a young goalie who's 84, 85, who's got good potential, who's less than 5 mil, right? I'd rather make that change. We won't be able to trade him, but still just to move him somehow. So we've actually been on a little bit of a losing streak. 4 in a row we've lost, and 5 of 6. But even after losing 4 in a row and 5 of 6, we're still 29, 15, and 4. So we got a really good team here. I don't need to check out the standings or the standings or the stats. Like the what's it called? The advanced standing in stats. We can show this. Pacific, we got 62, second in the Western Conference still, and tied for third in the NHL with 2 other teams, Philadelphia and Carolina. So you know what? Things are going well. Don't need to make any changes. Don't need to make any trades. Let's keep going. Let's keep going all the way to the trade deadline, and we'll do we'll check out all the stats and all that. But going back to what I was saying about Niemi, a prospect goalie wouldn't be a bad idea. But we need a goalie that is also doesn't have to be the same as Niemi, but has to be at least, with a lot of upside where if we bring him in year 3, he can be on a good team and he can make us a playoff team and get better throughout that year. I don't want to go down as low as 82, 83, but 84, 85, 86, I'd like to get a goalie like that. I think there'd be plenty out there by the time year 2 is up. And we got that prospect goalie. Oh, you know what? Shit, there was another comment that I said that I saw. You guys were saying that he's in the AHL, but he's not starting. Our goalie. Shit, I should have checked that at the beginning of the video. Forgot. Bachman and Staylock. Yeah. Is he in the CHL or is he in the AHL? Should he be at least starting? Oh, yeah, he should. Well, he's an other goalie, so sometimes when you have other goalie, they shouldn't be starting, right? But the thing is, I can't really do anything about it because I have auto goalie rotations on. So, well, I could do... No, you know what? He's listed as an other goalie. He's not listed as a backup, a minor league backup, or minor league starter, or a minor league backup. He's listed as an other goalie. So we'll leave him in there, all right? If he drops to the Red Star potential, whatever. We can always trade for another goalie. I don't think he's going to be ready for next year anyways, right? So he was the goalie of the future. Niemi is still young enough that you can use him if you need to, and you can trade him if you want to get something back. All right? So 30, 18, and 4, really good regular season record. Let's see if we can have a strong run to the trade deadline. Again, the third line might not be a bad idea, but again, going back to, I always say this, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that record looks pretty respectable. I got no problems with that record. 10 games above 500. We're on a little bit of a winning streak right now. I want to check our goals against and goals for. Last year, first in the NHL. I'd like to see, I think they were like 9th and 9th this year, or something like that. Last time we checked it after 2 months. That's a big stat. I want to make sure our goals against is nice and low. I wouldn't say our goal scoring is top of the NHL either. I mean, only 37 assists for our top guy. I mean, that's pretty good, but not compared to, I think, well, what did Joe Thornton have last year by this time? He had a lot of assists. Whatever, though. All right, so a few more games here. We'll be able to check everything. Detroit's not the greatest record, 26, 23, and 9. Come on now, simulation. Why are you taking so long on one day? 9-2, Jesus. Oh, there's still one more week. Ooh, Carolina, that's a team that we want to beat. There we go, we beat them in regulation as well. That was a team that we're chasing for that President's Trophy. QMJHL, I don't think we did the QM yet. Top 10 for Gagne, yeah, sure. We'll get that scouted. Is there any points that I have for my GM tracker? There you go. So we'll raise that up a little bit. Could actually raise medical staff, but maybe I shouldn't because it wasn't a problem last year. Don't want to jinx it. Yeah, screw that. Maybe when you have more medical staff, they get injured more often. Who knows? All right, so 3 more games. Pittsburgh, New York, and Detroit. Pittsburgh, man, look at that record. I don't know. Year 1, they were good, boys, but year 2, they've fallen back down to earth. I don't know what it is in this game with the Pittsburgh Penguins. You can't make them good. I think it's because their 2 best players don't play on the same line, Crosby and Malkin. Malkin's always on the second line center. He should be on the first line with Crosby. Make him a winger, they'd probably dominate. Whatever. All right, so there's 2 losses. Come on, one more win. 35. Yeah, we're no longer 10 games above 500. So I wouldn't say that we're in the President's Trophy position. We might be contending for it, but I wouldn't say we're in first in the NHL. So the Montreal Canadiens, 79, Carolina Hurricanes, 81, and we have 76. So yeah, we've fallen off a little bit, but at least the Pacific Division looks like a fairly weak division. Okay? We're actually, we're 4th in the West right now, but the teams that are beating us are all in Central. And 3rd in the Eastern Conference, right? So we've fallen off a little bit, but still a good record, a respectable record. I don't need to go crazy just yet. Here's all the individual stats, goals. Joe Thornton, he's not up there. And assists, yeah, this is what I mean. Logan, he's tied with Datsuk for 8th. All right. Points. Are we up there? No, we're not. Wins. Niemi's up there. That's good. Goals against is Niemi. Yeah, Niemi's in 8th. So that's at least we're getting some good goaltending or goals against, which is probably the goals against stat for us. I hope that's better than 9 this year. And save percentage, we're not up there. All right? So let us take a look at the team standings, the team stats, and we'll figure out if we want to make a change to this team or keep it the same. So right now in the NHL, we sit in 7th. So it's not like last year, but it's still respectable. Goals for per game, 10th in the NHL. Last year, we were above 3. Okay, this year we are 10th, so that could be a little bit better. I think it's our first line is not doing as good as they did last year. Goals against per game, 2.32. 4th in the NHL. I feel like goals against is more important than goals for. So that is a good stat for us right there. If we can improve our goals for with this goals against, we'll be much better. Definitely much better. Power play percentage, 16.6. So there's a big problem right there. And that would tie into our goals for as well. Our power play percentage is just not getting it done. So maybe we want to put Joe Thornton with Patrick Marleau on the power play now, right? I don't know. That's something for you guys to discuss. Penalty kill, still first in the NHL. So remember how at the beginning of the year we took guys like Joe Thornton and Joe Pavelski off the penalty kill, and we put guys like Wingles and Sabatka and Jay McClement on the penalty kill, right? So having those third and fourth liners have actually helped us out a little bit. But we only have one shorthanded goal for, so maybe that's why. Well, I mean, if Joe Thornton and Pavelski were on the penalty kill, maybe we'd have more shorthanded goals, but I don't care. I'd rather have a better penalty kill percentage. Our home record, 18-10-2. Our away record, 18-13-2. And our last 10 games, 5-5-0. So we've kind of fallen off in our last 10 games, but it's not a big deal. We're going to be a playoff team with these guys. All right, but it's just about finding the right combination so that when the playoffs do start up, we have the best team that we can possibly have for this simulation. So, forwards, Joe Thornton, 60 points in 63 games played. How many points did he have last year? 103. Jesus, yeah. So, he's less than a point a game player. Last year, he was 20 points above point a game, right? So, he has fallen off a little bit, but, I mean, that's more realistic, point a game for Joe Thornton. He's also 35 years old, right? So, he's getting older, but he still has that 4-star potential, which is good. Logan, he's got 58 points in 63 games played. How many did he have last year? 84. So he was a point-a-game player last year. He's a point-a-game player this year, basically. So I'm fine with that. Pavelski, he's already got the 50 points that I want, basically, from a second liner. And because he's a good second liner, I'd like 60 points out of him. He looks like he could get 60 points. Last 20 games, 13 points, and he could do that. So he's having a great year. Patrick Marleau, only 40 points. The big thing about Patrick Marleau is he's a sniper, and he's only got 11 goals. That's a problem. He's still got the potential, but maybe moving him up to the first line might change something. Because Brett Burns, last year, he was a 30-goal scorer. He looks like he's only going to be maybe less than 20 goals this year. So maybe Logan with Patrick Marleau and Joe on the first line to score a little bit more goals, right? But again, goals against per game, we are first. So that's what Brett Burns helps out with. That physical and defensive category are 5 stars, right? So it's a double-edged sword. Gallagher, 36 on the second line, but 19 goals. So, you know what? That's a good year for him. Wingles, 21. Sabatka, 18. Yeah, there you go. There's some depth. Fraser McLaren, 5. All right, penalty minute, 75. But again, how many fights has that been? Defenseman, Boyle, 31. What's his potential? 3.5. All right, so he's definitely somebody that we want to trade at the end of this year. But we got to hold on to him for right now. He's helping our team. Vlasic, 26. Shattenkirk, 23. So Shattenkirk doesn't look like he's going to have the 51-point season like he did last year. All right, so that's, it's a bunch of things. It's Shattenkirk with Joe Thornton that's not getting the points. But at least it looks like we're a defensive team, though. We're all plus. Yeah, even, plus, that's fine. And goaltenders, look at Nabokov. Goals against average 1.95, 8-3-0, save percentage of 93. And good news is he's only got 1-star potential, but he's still 80 overall. So he hasn't dropped yet. So we can still use him as our backup. And Niemi, 92.04 save percentage and a goals against average of 2.32. It could be a little bit better. His save percentage is decent, but it could be a little bit closer to 93. I think that's what it was last year. Let me just compare it to last year. Yeah, just a little bit better. Yeah, there you go. It was a little bit closer to 3 last year. It's still good. I'm not gonna harp on him. All right, but 90.93 would be a little bit better for Niemi. All right, but still, we're a playoff team. And last but not least, we will check out the progress reports just to see if it doesn't. I don't think it does. This stuff is all over the place. Yeah, this looks like the same that it was at the beginning of the year. I don't know what these progress reports mean, man. I really don't. Whatever. All right, so there you go. Very nice. And, we're up here at the trade deadline. So if you guys have any suggestions on what we should do with this team, let me know. Trades. What's Trayson Bowman? He's still 78. Trades, line changes, anything, right? This is what I'm talking about with the third line. Sabatka, Wingles, and Kennedy. Maybe you want to get a grinder or a power forward in there for a winger. What's Kennedy like this year? Let me just see. It's -2, 18 points. I don't know. It's hard to decide. All right, but maybe you guys would have an idea. But when it comes to making a trade, if we did want to make a trade, I really don't see us having much trade value. We would have to find a player with similar trade value to a Tyler Kennedy, right? But, for centers, You could trade away Wingles, but I would rather hold on to a Wingles than a Kennedy. We got him for 3 years at 1.75. That's a steal. Kennedy, his contract is up this year, right? So I'd rather trade away a Kennedy. We can maybe trade away a Kemp as well. Add the trade value in there. All right, not really any trade value from all these guys. I mean, our young guns, yeah, but do I want to trade them away? Greiba, we could trade away Greiba. We're not going to, or do we want to hold on to him for injuries in the playoffs, right? So, yeah, I don't know what we want to do with this. You guys can weigh in on it, all right? Anything and everything, trades or line changes. But as of right now, your San Jose Sharks sit 6th in the NHL, so should we make any changes? I'll leave it to you guys, and I will see you in the next video when we finish off year 2.